I was surprised because I was like, oh, actually, this movie was not as bad as I thought it was. And this movie is even more terrible. It was, a mess.
All right, that's a sneak peek. We're talking about ranking all the movies. What's up, folks? Welcome to the Sidekick Show. We are live on Monday at 8 p.m. It is June 21st. Where did the time go? Rob is here with me. Say what up, Rob.
What up, Rob?
Here, yeah. What up, Rob? What up, Rob? We have a bunch of guests with us, so we've gone crazy because this is Fast 5. So I figured we needed 5 contestants for some silliness that I've got coming up. So we've got Andre and Stu, who you know from the Heroes World podcast, and we've got my brother, who you know from all the other random videos and some of the podcast episodes and some sidekick episodes. So thank you everyone for joining us. I don't know if we have to cover anything else. Usually on the Sidekick Show, what we do is we talk a little bit about what's coming out this week, comic-wise or at the shop, and then Rob will throw some news at us, and then we're going to talk about our topic at hand, which this week is Fast and Furious 5 for our countdown to Fast and Furious 9, which I don't know if we're going to be able to see here in Canada, but we're going to try.
Well, at least here in Ontario. Other parts of the country will be able to see it, but...
Is it the Fast
Stu, you're on mute, Stu.
Oh, I believe Rob and myself are driving to Quebec to buy curds, some bagels, and watch Fast 9. Rob, I thought this was
it was all along. Well, I thought that we were going to announce that at the end of the show, but way to just drop it on the table early. But yes, that was
me and Rob are going to walk in and just go bonjour to all the Quebecois.
My last name is Cadet. I must be French.
Oh. Yeah, let me in.
Yeah, that's right. Let me in.
So we may or may not be road tripping. I don't know what's going to happen. We hope, fingers crossed, we'll be able to see 9 somehow. Otherwise, we'll maybe revisit some of the other movies or watch Fast and the Furious spinoff in the meantime, like Biker Boys or some other fantastic steaming pile of crap.
Torque.
Like that.
Torque.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Jesus Christ. All right.
There's a lot of bad movies. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So for new releases at the shop, I only pulled the main book coming out this week that we think everyone should definitely check out. There's a bunch of stuff. We are getting the Fortnite Batman crossover, a reprint of issue number 3. A lot of people came by on the weekend and we're missing issue 3, so we are getting that one in the newest printing. And I am going to recommend the new Spawn Universe book coming out. So there is 4 different covers coming out for it, all by J. Scott Campbell, I believe. Sorry, we got a little bit of echo going on. So definitely check that out. That's the launch of all these new Spawn characters, the big new Todd McFarlane announcement that we have covered previously in other episodes and on the podcast. So definitely check that out. That'll be available on Wednesday, bearing any shipping delays. And that's it for new releases. We also have the new Card Fight Vanguard set coming out and restocks of various other card stuff like the latest Magic. So I'll let Rob take it away. Do you have any news?
You know what? Actually, I think there's a lot of stuff broke in the last few days with respect to costume reveals and whatnot. I think I imagine Pat and Chris are probably going to be covering it on this week's Hey, What'd I Miss, which is on Thursday. So I'll let them kind of deal with that. I'm only going to, just because I know that we need to essentially, the 4 of us have to form a giant robot to battle Andre for time, because this is his love monster, Fast 5. So we need to be able to combine our forces. But so we won't have much news, but there is a couple of John Wick 4 rumors I wanted to throw out there. So 2 stars apparently will be joining the John Wick franchise. One of them is Wesley Snipes, Blade himself, Passenger 57. And so an unknown role. Whether or not he'll actually join this franchise is I have no clue. I know he had a lot of an issue about whether he was going to join the Expendables back in the day, so I don't even know if he'll step into this world or not. But there is a part of me that kind of wants to see. Although, is that a bit just too, not meta, but is that just too on the nose? Like, it's like, okay, you know it's Wesley Snipes. Does it take you out of the John Wick universe? I'm not too sure. Stu says no.
Nope. It worked in a small vampire TV show that I was dying of laughter seeing a certain daywalker on a monitor talking on the other vampire council. So no, he needs money. Let's pay this guy. He was avoiding taxes for a while. Keep getting that man some checks, baby. Let's keep on going.
You know what? I will say Wesley Snipes got screwed over. I don't think it was him that was avoiding paying taxes. It was bad management. And also, so there's a bit of a 47 Ronin reunion because Mortal Kombat star Hiroyuki Sanada, who played Sub-Zero, I believe, in Mortal Kombat reboot from earlier this year. It looks like he will be teaming back up with Keanu Reeves in Matrix 4 as well. That actually has me kind of excited.
He was also
excited to see that.
The 2 minutes of the Avengers where you're like, oh yeah, he's here and not here anymore. So let's carry on.
Yeah, you need a Japanese guy with sword. Pick him. That's it.
So in terms of like cast news, that's it. Like I said, there's a lot of behind the set photos from the Flash movie that have been released. David Sandberg, the director of the Shazam movie, Fury of the Gods, released a photo of all the Shazam family with their updated costumes. I'm very excited to talk about that. So we'll probably be covering that off this week on Hey, What I Miss? But I just want to leave you with this, is that John and I did a trailer reaction to Snake Eyes that came out earlier this morning. And so we're gonna go right to the costume.
I thought you said, didn't you just talk about the costumes?
Snake Eyes looks a lot like
I'm gonna have to talk about
Chuck.
Yeah, sorry. This is the new Snake Eyes movie. I think the guy in the middle is Snake Eyes.
Wow, they're doing a new interpretation of G.I. Joe. They're really going in on this whole heroes fad. But we'll talk more about that. But yeah, no, the new Snake Eyes trailer dropped, G.I. Joe Origins. It came out today. John and I did a trailer reaction, so definitely, if you haven't seen it, go to the YouTube video channel on Heroes World to check that out. This is supposed to be a pretty big week for trailer drops, not Spider-Man, but some other stuff, maybe a Matrix 4. So we will see what happens the rest of this week. Supposed to be, though, some big trailers dropping throughout the week. So if today was the start of things, let's see what the rest of the week has to hold. And that's all I got for news, John, because I know we've got to get into live your life a quarter mile at a time.
That is
Sylvester Stallone.
Can we just jump back to Snake Eyes, because that was brutal? Can we talk about the Nicolas Cage movie Snake Eyes? Like that movie, underappreciated at the time.
Is it underappreciated?
Gary Sinise. Let's talk about that. Caesar's Palace. There's things happening in Las Vegas. Okay, now let's keep on going fast. Andre may rock bottom me if I start talking about Nicolas Cage more. I guess. Anyways, carry on.
I want to go quickly to Andre. Matrix 4 trailer. Would that be something you want to see, Andre, or are you like, don't touch that? Don't touch my Matrix.
I don't know what to think with that Matrix, because at first you kind of think that, oh, maybe there's something to it because Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss are coming back. Don't know how.
It was kind of definitive at the end.
Andre, it was all a dream. It's a Jacob Ladder situation.
And Patrick Dempsey wakes up, he's in the shower. It's like, what happened? And it was all a dream. Actually, do you want to hear what the rumor? So this, one of Stu's friends, Grace Randolph, she does some scoops online. It's questionable whether or not she's usually accurate or not. However,
baby. Yep.
But Grace Randolph has said and tweeted out, I think it was yesterday on Sunday, that apparently there's some intense similarities between The Matrix 4 and Free Guy starring Ryan Reynolds, in that The Matrix 4 takes place inside of video games. So I don't know. We will see. But apparently the two movies have more than just a striking similarity in terms of its plot and stuff.
Okay, so we'll see if that drops. We are definitely getting Andre's reaction to a Matrix 4 trailer and seeing if he's going to be blowing up the studio or something like that. I don't know.
Andre could not be more upset about watching that trailer. I can foresee it now. Almost as angry as Ryan Reynolds as Commander Shepard in the Mass Effect movie. This is what's going to happen. Ryan Reynolds, Mass Effect. Let's put it out there on the internet. Let's get it done. Andre will appreciate it. Trust me, he'll love it.
No, I won't. I really won't.
What? You don't want him joking around on a spaceship? Come on, it'd be great.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, so let's not jinx any more of Andre's favorite properties and and things. So let's talk one of Andre's favorite properties, Fast and the Furious, starring maybe I'll fight Apollo, maybe I won't. Sylvester Stallone, apparently, according to Rob. So we're talking Fast 5, arguably the turning point of this whole entire Fast and the Furious franchise. Getting away from the street racing element and moving on to a more heisty style action fest. So I've got a little bit of stats behind it here. So a budget of 125 million, box office of 626 million. So I actually whipped together a quick graphic if you guys want to see what it looks like. So Fantastic Furious, Fast and Furious
Fantastic
1. You can see at the very
where to find them.
Yeah. So you can see the kind of chart of this franchise's basically money making projections, and look at the budget of Fast 5 compared to how much it made. It made like I don't know if there's a word for 6 times the amount. Like I don't know.
That is shocking that F4 made that much. That's shocking to me.
To be fair, nothing in this world will ever make up the difference between My Big Fat Greek Wedding. That movie cost nothing, and it made more money back by pure percentage than any other movie of all time. Because I think that movie cost like
I'll
$1
add
million,
that bar graph
like
next time.
$400 million. So yeah, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, released April 29th, 2011 on the 10-year anniversary of Fast and the Furious 1, and we are now at the 20-year anniversary of Fast and the Furious. Not to say we're old or anything, but that happened. It's been a hot minute. We lived our lives a quarter mile at a time for a hot minute here, folks. So I think that's all we need to cover stat-wise. I don't think we need to summarize the movie. I think most of you have seen it. Even in the comments, I can't think of anyone who we could have recruited that would have. Oh, hey, Rob's son, right? Rob, your son is the first time watching this movie?
Yeah, so to recap what happened, I said last week is that I was going to use. He did not want to watch this. Now we took him to see Hobbs and Shaw in the theater because he really wanted to see that, but refused to see any of these other movies. And I told him it's going to be a punishment, and he was like, no. I convinced him to watch the first 20 minutes of the first movie. He loved it. We've watched all up to number 5. We finished 5 last night. So he said that at the end of last night's episode, he said, or show, he's like, I don't know if this is my favorite of number 1, because he still really liked number 1. But he has enjoyed them up until now. So it can only go downhill.
Okay, I'm pretty impressed that number 1 and number 5 are kind of a toss up to him. I would have thought 5 for sure. Even when I popped it back in, I will admit that I thought I was ride or die Fast and Furious 1, but 5 is a pretty good kind of culmination of everything they've created. So the first thing I wanted to talk about with this movie is, and we've done this in many of our podcasts to introduce this, which is the Rock factor. Adding the Rock to a movie. And I don't know if it's one of the sole reasons we can attribute this movie to doing so well, but I think it is one of the main reasons, because I think all of us saw it in the theater. Aside from Rob, this is before before Rob. So I think everyone else in this panel, we all actually went to see this together. And I'm pretty sure that didn't happen for Fast and the Furious 4. So something about 5 made us go, hey, Andre, you're coming. Chris, you're coming. Stu's coming. And a whole bunch of others all came with us. And we all went to see Fast and the Furious 5 together. I know I would have went to see it, but I'm wondering what drew everyone else in to see it. So I'll let. Do you want to let our guests go first, Rob, and you want to do cleanup, or you want to take the glory first? No.
No. Like a guy in Amsterdam, sex you. I'll do the cleanup. That's fine.
Okay, so let me. Weird Rob references aside, I'm gonna. Since Andre is a professional, he can recover after that weirdness. Andre, can you talk a little bit about the Rock factor in this movie? This was a role that I think originally was supposed to go to Tommy Lee Jones. Stu, I don't know if you have any, if you heard that or not. But basically, he would have just been playing his U.S. Marshals version of himself as the same character. So, Andre, how do you feel about the Rock, Dwayne Johnson, coming to this franchise?
Well, I think it is exactly that. This is at a time where The Rock is literally turning his career around, and he's going mainstream. Like in picking decent roles, and he this is entertainment Rock. This is a guy that's cutting his path into what movies he wants to do and stuff. And he worked with good people before, but I think this was really that I want to be that serious action hero. Remember, we had that one with him in Stifler or whatever, the action comedies.
The Rundown? That's a great movie.
Yeah, but it's just, it's building up. But this is like, hey, I want to be the action star of this generation type of thing. So yeah, it was an amazing casting. He brought like a sense of like just scope, like you believe everything they say about this guy. Like when Brian says this guy's Old Testament, this guy's going to bring the wrath of God on you. you look at him and you're like, they only need him. What does he need these other 4 dudes for? You know? So I think it was perfect casting for it. Just a great role bringing him in for that.
Yeah. All right. So let me kick it to Stu. What you introduced this whole rock factor concept. So what do you think it was solely the rock? Like that I'll bring that bar graph up again. Like is that graphic because of the rock?
And I cannot take credit because the Rock on Saturday Night Live said he was franchised Viagra. So that was like the bit that he did. So that is the thing. I don't think it was the Rock in this movie, to be very fair. I watched the trailer today before watching the movie again, and just reminding of watching that trailer, that was the reason why we saw it, because if you watch the theatrical trailer again, it's like it was that heist where you saw all the characters from the previous movies coming together, and you're like, oh, I need to see this movie. Never had I imagined I see Han standing next to standing next to Ludacris and all this stuff happening. I'm like, wow, this is the culmination of a bunch of franchises adding its secondary characters to do an Avengers style movie. This was what we imagined the Avengers could be. So The Rock was fine. Like in this movie, he's clearly lathered in a lot of cocoa butter and glistening in the sun. So he's fine in it. Like, honestly, you could grab any badass in this movie and it'll be fine. What The Rock does in successive movies is what defines what The Rock is. But in this movie, what Hobbs does is barely minimum. Like, he's kind of in the background doing a couple things. His crew gets killed and he's like, Toretto, ha 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 ha, I'll let you go. Like, really, that's all the heavy lifting.
So do you think that this bar graph would look the same if it was Tommy Lee Jones?
No, but
is what like, you're saying.
No, but like let's talk about a comparable action star as like a police badass. Like you could find someone else. Like let's say for example it was John Cena at that point. John Cena,
no way.
John Cena just probably could have carried off like the thing, and that's it. Like again, I'm not debating about The Rock being awesome because in the next movies he gets better. But in this particular movie, not knowing what happens at Fast 6 and Fast 7, he doesn't really do much, and that's fine.
He's not
in it to carry the movie.
Credible villain though. He's the credible guy.
He's not the villain. The villain is Spanish Phil Hartman.
This guy. Yes, sorry, but
Spanish Phil Hartman. Like that is the guy. Like that guy looks so much like Phil Hartman, like from Saturday Night Live. I just sat there going, "Oh my goodness!" Like this is for all you kids who don't know, he was on SNL and he's a Canadian treasure. But Phil Hartman was the best, and that Spanish guy was the bad guy, truly in this movie.
Right, but that bad guy is not going to throw a punch at Vin Diesel. So you have the overboss, and this guy's like The Rock was I can't see anybody else they could have put that you would have felt could have been on the same level to add tension to. Yeah,
but the thing about The Rock and Vin Diesel is that the tension is The Rock should just be able to implode Vin Diesel's body with a punch. So he's overqualified. Like every time I see them punch, I'm like, really? Like Vin Diesel, you can't. Like The Rock has to tie you every single time. We'll get. This is the Kato. Oh, he couldn't beat up Robin thing. It's like no, Kato would destroy Robin. It's freaking Bruce Lee. So like I get it. Like you're right. The Rock is amazing, and he's a huge.
Oh,
Stu's mic.
You might cut out.
Let me kick it to Chris while Stu gets his mic working. So Chris, you are my Rock expert. So we watched him in many films. I think Rundown is probably in one of your top 5 or top 10 lists for sure. We watched that movie like a million times with and without the commentary. So Rock came into this role as very serious. I think like not his typical Rock self. So how do you feel about the Rock in this movie?
As you can tell from my shirt, I'm just a mild Rock fan here. I remember that Rundown. The Rundown was one of my favorite movies. I love The Rock in WWE, and then he crossed over in the movies. I was a big fan, followed his career. There was actually a moment in The Rundown where he passes Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arnold Schwarzenegger just like have fun or whatever, and that was kind of like the passing of the torch, but it didn't go, I guess, as smoothly at that kind of passing as possible. Like he did a lot of. I looked at his IMDb before this, and I remember that around that time he was doing he did some Disney movies. I think he did one where he was like a dad football player, things like that. He did one called Faster, where he was the lead in that movie, and he didn't say I don't think he said a single line of dialogue in that movie. So they had moderate success. And as to answer your question as which is, did The Rock benefit? I would say it was more of a mutual kind of perfect storm thing. I wouldn't say the numbers would do well with someone else. I think it was kind of like this, and I remember too, like he was trying to like pare down his physique a bit because he was kind of too large for these types of roles. And then in Fast and the Furious, they're like, yo, F it, just be as big as possible. You're going to be this like monstrous, like over the top giant person. And we're just going to slot you in this movie. You're going to have like, it's not a tour de force acting performance from him. He's kind of like very stiffly his eyes, but he's so over the top that he adds.
Like, I feel like it is. I feel like it's we'll get into it, but I feel like it's a really great.
Like you said, after this movie, it's just like he's just shot to them when he became like this the bankable action star in Hollywood. Like you this is the guy you get when you want $100 million opening kind of thing. So yeah, I would say it was kind of mutual. I lean towards more The Rock being the standout star of this movie, but I think it was more of a kind of perfect storm, I would say, of them together. Yeah.
All right, cool. So Rob, batting cleanup here, and you've got the perspective of your son who already knows Rock as. So we came into this movie with The Rock at his current status. So your son is almost kind of like backtracking, and I don't know how you felt about The Rock before this movie or not, but take it away.
Yeah, no. I watched all of those movies from before. The Rundown, I think it was Andre mentioned it earlier. That Rundown was the movie that was that was the literal passing of the torch from Arnold to The Rock in that scene. That was metaphorical because The Rock was supposed to be catapulted into Arnold's stratosphere, and that didn't happen right away. There was a few, not missteps, but I think maybe poor managing or whatever at the time. And then he went into G.I. Joe. He did, and this. To Stu's point, he's not in this movie very long. And I do think that his presence in the trailers and the knowing that he was going to be in it probably helped contribute to a bit more of an uptick in the box office. Had it been, and I was just taking a look at 2011 action movies, right? So, you had the first Thor, you had the first Captain America, but if you try to go through like named actors who would have been comparable, you had Andre's favorite Ryan Reynolds, you had Ryan Gosling. There wasn't a lot of big action movies that year, right? So would you have taken like a Liam Neeson who was still hot off of Taken? Would he have stepped in that role? No. I think that The Rock did bring a pop to it. I mean, he was still at the height of his in wrestling as well, like in that world, even though he wasn't in the ring as often. So I think The Rock added some juice to the movie. It obviously pumped up that box office a little bit. But to everybody else's point here, the story of this movie, the trailer, when you watched it, it was completely different than anything that had come before it, except for, I would say, the fourth movie is people say it's a hard reboot, but it has the heist. It has a lot of the elements that are in this movie. So I think Chris said it best. It's a bit of a perfect storm, brought everything together and elevated this movie to what is now probably considered one of the lowest, like out of the new Fast movies, probably the lowest box office out of the between 5 and 8, because they
the rest of the bar, the rest of the graph is just all up.
Yeah, but Rock does bring it. You can't deny that he brought some of that heat in. It just his role in this movie, and as much as like Andre is saying, he was the catalyst for getting the everything else. He's really not in it very long. Like he's like Jor-El in Superman, and he's only in it for a few minutes and cumulatively for a few minutes, a number of scenes, but not a long time. Oh, Stu, you're still on mute, man.
Stu's having a sound issue. You good? You back?
No. Stu, can you say something? Facial expressions aren't audible, Stu.
Some Rock stands just went into his.
There we go.
There we go.
I was just saying that, like, to be fair, rewatching the movie, Vince has as many good, like, one-line zingers than The Rock does. Because, like, Vince has, like, a heavy role in the beginning of the movie. And I'm like, The Rock kind of says whatever, but he doesn't get the real great lines till Fast and Furious 6 and Fast and Furious 6, like, when he breaks the cast and his daddy's going to go to Papa's going to go to work and all the other stuff. Like, all the awesome Rock stuff is said later. This is just like, we're going to give you a little bit of it and see whether you want more or not. So
during his opening sequence, does he not like slap a clipboard out of someone's or someone's like, here's the stats, and he's like, I don't care about the stats. Like that was great.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I don't know what this movie was rated, but he gets the F-bomb right at the beginning, and I think you only get like 1 or 2 F-bombs in that PG-13 or whatever, and he drops that one.
They gave it to him, and he gets if you watch the extended cut, he gets the super loud neck snap. I think he's one of the only characters that just straight up murders the guy. But let's keep it rolling. I got a couple of things planned. So I did want to talk a little bit about the change of location. So Fast and Furious 1 is in LA. 2, they jump to Miami. 3, obviously Japan, Tokyo. 4, I forget where it is. I don't think it's in LA though, right? I think the street races in the beginning take place in LA, and then they're smuggling the stuff across
from Mexico.
It's Mexico.
From Mexico.
And Mexico and Texas, right? So,
and now we have Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, whatever, or wherever they filmed to make it look like that. But do you guys think that maybe this kind of like globe trotting, because they kind of do it in the later movies, they just start hitting all the different places around the world. Do you think that also is another part of this perfect storm that Chris is talking about? Okay, we'll do the same order again. We'll kick it to Andre if he has any thoughts on that.
Well, I think, the movie's just grown in scope, right? It's grown in scope and scale by bringing all the cast in. You want to have exotic locations. You want to add that to the exotic cars, and they're showing car culture and these little scenes, even though it's not the focus, they're showing those all around the world, and they're beautiful locations, right? And I think that's a testament to how they're writing their stories. They probably think of where can we set this so we can have these action set pieces. So I think it's a beautiful place. I think it really worked, and it also fit the story of you can't still be in the States because these guys are wanted. They just pulled the heist to break them out. So it kind of made sense, as he said. Hey, we were running away from the law and we hit every bad slum until we ended up kind of here, rock bottom, where they were kind of down and out, right? So definitely think it's part of it.
Yeah. Stu, anything? Any thoughts on the locations that they started to use?
I think that this location, Brazil specifically, in Rio de Janeiro and the Filipinas, like the housing is beautiful in terms of like the colorfulness. So it fits the backdrop of the movie in terms of where do you go? Like even Bruce Banner knows, go to Brazil, hide in Brazil, because it's a big city and there's lots of people there. And to Andre's point, 100% it fits the storyline because they can't go home. Where can they go? It's where could they get this huge heist of money outside of like America? It's somewhere in South America. It makes perfect sense that that's where they're going to pull a heist, because anywhere else in the world, like they're going to stop you quick. Like imagine if this was in like a proper mega city, like in Asia or in Europe, or that you can't just drive through the cobblestone roads of like, of like France with this giant safe going back and forth. So it fits kind of the theme of what they're doing. And it's also, it's hot. It's like people can wear, Giselle, there was a whole scene about her and what you got to do to get business done. And it's like, it's perfect. Like that's what people want. You want to, as you say, sit back with the Corona, sit at the beach, drive a fast car. And then as we talked about on the last podcast, laughing at the fact that there's this car culture where people race in the street. Like nowhere in Brazil do people still meet up and like, we're going to race for like cars. Like that's ridiculous. But it's nice to live in a fantasy world where that happens, where people are still racing, pink slips for pink slips. So, but it makes a lot of sense. It fits.
Like it's a 50s movie. Any thoughts, Chris, on the location?
Yeah, I guess it kind of ties into what you guys are saying is the law. I think the word is lawlessness of it. Like you don't have this security of the police being on your side or on a side of trying to save people. It's like the police is completely bought out. You have nowhere to go, apparently, nowhere to run and things like that. I just like the one thing I do like about the location is to watch The Rock just sweat uncontrollably while his co-stars are like dry as the desert and his like whole head is like covered in sweat. It's like that boy runs hot, like serious, like every scene he's like completely soaked, and it's just funny to watch. I just thought that was funny. But yeah, I would say the lawlessness factors in high in the story.
Yeah. Rob, do you think the Rock had his own towel boy that would run up and like dab him after each take?
He was soaked every scene, yo.
Yeah. It was Leaping Lanny Poffo was actually his towel boy. It's interesting. When I was watching this movie again, I actually bought this movie years and years ago when it came out first on Blu-ray as a blind buy because everybody kept saying how great it was. The interesting thing is, and Andre mentioned it, and so did Stu, but Andre said, you can't have them running throughout the U.S. And that is sometimes the mistake of a lot of these sequels, right? Is that, yeah, you're going to hit Los Angeles. Okay, you're going to hit New York. Maybe you do Chicago or Miami, but there's really, nobody's going to be robbing banks in like Idaho, right? Like you're not going to do that type of stuff. You need to have something exotic. The best car chase movies and heist movies are always in like foreign lands. This is very much like a cut and paste from the Italian Job and pick any other heist movie where you have the foreign locales. That adds to the fun and the excitement of seeing things, especially from us in North America who maybe aren't familiar with those areas, right? And those locales. So yeah, this fit what it needed to do perfectly. Better to be Rio than say like Mexico, right? So
yeah. All right,
and they
cool.
Did Mexico. And they already did Miami. So
yeah, but they
gotta keep it moving.
They did Mexico under the ground, right? They were only in a little bit, and then they were in that tunnel. So it wasn't like they were throughout Mexico City and whatnot.
That's the only thing I remember from the fourth one is that underground
tunnel chase. Yeah,
tunnel chase.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it like on a crap screen, and I like couldn't see anything. I was like, I gotta turn the brightness up on this one.
Yeah.
I saw that in theaters. It was rough. Yeah.
Yeah, was it in 3D? Was that at the time where?
No, I wish it was 3D. It made me feel better about myself. It
seemed like they might have had something better planned, but then they're like, "Oh, we out of budget, yo. We got to make this inside a tunnel or something, man." It's like no more money left to do an outside chase scene.
Yeah, we can build a bunch of tunnels. All right, so let's get into our favorite scenes, and then I've got a little quick game planned, and then maybe we can attempt to rank these movies and talk a little bit more about it. So, Rob, let's start nominating favorite scenes. And then when we come around, you can help me help us kind of narrow it down. So let's kick it to Rob first. What would you like to nominate for a favorite scene of this movie, or your favorite scene? Let's go with favorite non-action scene, because I feel like there was a lot of dramatic moments in this movie that maybe, or comedic moments. You could choose a comedic scene as well. Do you need a second, Rob, or should I jump?
No,
to Andre
I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and I'm actually going to pick the mid-credit scene as my favorite. And I'll tell you why. Because had it not had that hook, rewatching this movie now, I don't know if I would have the desire to quickly then jump into to number 6. So I know it's a cheat. I know Stu's like, but I actually quite liked it, especially because I was like, oh, even Mendez is back. So I'm gonna go with that. My colleagues on the dais here are gonna have much better scenes.
I just wish that we all have jobs where The Rock would be like, I don't want to do any work unless it's Dominic Toretto. I'm like, what job do you have? So you're like, you know what? That's just beneath me. I don't want to do any other work. Andre, just give me what I want to do, and if not, bugger off. I'm like, man, I wish I was like The Rock.
Yeah, priority number 1, track down Dominic Toretto. I think back in the day when we all went to see this in theaters, it was before this end credit, mid credit thing was like the norm, and I feel like we all left and we had to watch this scene. I don't know. I feel like I didn't see the scene.
I think I watched it on YouTube after. I think I
left. I think a bunch of us left and some of us stayed. Because maybe it was late or something like that. But Rob's already went. Let's go to Andre. Andre, do you have a favorite non-action scene? So your favorite dramatic or comedic scene?
Oh man, there's so many good ones. I don't know which one would be my favorite. Like I think the cheesy one right at the beginning where or after the big chase and Mia says I'm pregnant. She just blurts it out. And then he's like, "Are you serious?" and stuff, and you have that moment there. I thought that that was good and all about what the movies are about, right? They always stick with family and stuff like that. So that was pretty solid moment.
Yeah. All right, Stu, what do you got for your favorite non-action?
It's got to be the scene where Brian and Dom are assembling the team. the moment where they're like, we need this bunch of people. It's like we need a chameleon. And it's just like the ridiculous things of what they're saying. And I watched them like,
he's like arbitrary things you don't need for
we
this.
all just need like a circuit man. He's like, oh, he's the best circuit man on the West Coast. What a vague way to say IT. It's like, oh, that guy. You know, Andre, he's the best circuit man in the Northern Hemisphere. What is a circuit man? I don't know. It's circuit man. I was like, yeah. So that whole scene where they're bringing together the team and they're like, we're gonna need a team. And I was just sitting there like, oh, this is every trope, and I loved it. It was so beat for beat. Like, we need this guy. It was like I feel like they just copied it straight out of Ocean's 11.
No, totally. And when they say we need two precision drivers, guys that don't crack under pressure, and guys that don't lose, and man, rest in peace, Paul Walker. He just jumps in and goes, I know we got those. Like what a I grit like huge grin when that scene comes up.
It's a stupid smile moment where you're just like it's like talking to yourself third person. It's like, oh, we need guys that could assemble for a podcast and 5 people that can talk about Fast 5.
I need my movie expert, that's Stu, and I need my jokester, Rob. I need my rock expert, Chris, and I need the guy that just knows everything. That's Andre. So, Chris Ho, what is your favorite non-action scene?
I think I have 2. I guess one is kind of like action-ish. Like
it's a typical. You're obviously related to John. You need to have one, and yet you're always coming up with.
I got 2, man.
One. You don't get 2, man.
I'm taking John's time. Okay. 2. One is like I think someone mentioned it.
Mute him.
I don't know why I didn't see this coming the first time I saw it. Was when Vin Diesel helps The Rock up in the middle of that action sequence. I don't know why I didn't see it coming, but them teaming up. I literally was in the theater, I think, with these guys, and I went like physically. Like,
I think we all got up
like that in the middle of the theater. Yeah. Everyone was laughing at me. I was like, seriously, like the Raptors just won the championship. I was so happy about that. And then, in the middle of the theater, I thought that was a great scene. And then the other one is the end sequence when they open the safe. And that song, I don't know. I think that song they chose was perfect.
Yeah,
I think
I like how John is cutting you out. You were just over. Your time is too much.
Okay. Anyways, I thought that song was perfect for that sequence. You get to see what everyone does with their money.
Yeah, you kind of see the reward. Yeah,
it was really cool. Yeah, I just thought that song was perfect for that. Yeah. Anyways,
Stu, Stu, since you rewatched the trailer, was there an indication that The Rock turns and joins them? I feel like we didn't know that going in.
It depends on which trailer. There's 2. There's the theatrical trailer and the other trailer, and one trailer doesn't highlight any of the group coming together, and then one trailer is like shows everyone all together all the time. So depending on which one you're watching, it gives certain things away. But again, we're all laughing because when we saw that movie and we saw the trailers and all that stuff, it probably we ended up watching a few times at the store. Just when you guys have a computer, we just watch it on YouTube. We're just like, how can we not see this? This is so stupid. Like this is almost like you convinced us to go XXX, the new movie. No, that was a fail for you, John. But this one, we're all in. So the return of Xander Cage, that was a wash. So
I loved it. That was
he tried the same formula. Like, think about this. He tried the exact same formula. Vin Diesel, like, we're bringing together these people, and it just boop, falls. So
I was excited to see the cameo at the end of Return of Xander Cage. It was Xander Cage, whatever his name was. Yeah, when Ice Cube drops it. But that was whatever. We'll move on from XXX 2. I wanted to shout out the scene where Vince starts giving a speech about how Paul Walker came in and effed everything up. Where's everybody? Where's the family? Look what you did. All that kind of stuff. I feel like that guy got the most dramatic part of the movie, and then he no longer gets to be as part of the rest of the franchise. So it kind of sucks for him. But let's move on to the proper favorite scenes. Rob, do you want to take it first, or you want to help me fill up the end?
Yeah, I'll wait to the end because these guys are much more fanboys than I am.
We'll see what scenes are missed, Rob, and you can help me make sure we get them all. So let's kick it to Andre first, and if he can contain himself into one favorite scene and see what gets nominated. If he has to spit out a whole bunch,
a real man talks about one. Yeah. I believe in you, Andre. Rules.
Well, you can have a top 5 countdown if you want.
Yeah. I would just recap the whole movie. My favorite, and I think the best scene is the opening scene, not the train heist. And I remember being in the theater in the IMAX, and the ridiculousness of Dom bursting out of the train and then speeding up, and then Paul Walker jumping on the car. The train hits the bridge, and then they go, oh shit, and they've got to jump off. Like, it's, oh man, it was just like right then you knew they got budget for this movie. Like, I think that one scene must have cost more than all of Fast 4. You know, it would just set the tone for the whole movie, and they managed to raise the bar on every scene after that. But I gotta say that one just hooked it for me. You know.
Although it's funny, when I watched that with Noah, when they jump off the car, which they were still really high up in the air, he looks at me and he goes, "They would be dead." And I said,
"That's exactly the point. That's the point where you realize this is now transitioned into a superhero movie."
Superhero movie, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, way to go, 12-year-old analytical kid.
Yeah. You're like, son, you're really ripping this apart. Let's just enjoy this as a family.
I'm going to bring you to Andre's next party, and you guys can sit down and discuss.
Yeah. All right, Stu, what is your favorite scene, and does it involve your all-time favorite character, Han?
Oh man, my scene does already involve Han. So I don't know. I quote John. I got nothing.
Lies. Stop making fun of me.
No, seriously. I think the scene that's underappreciated is the scene where it was Brian, Han, Roman, and Dom lining up with their police cars, and they have that interchange. It's like the safe bet is the safe chase, but that scene where they pull up on cars, and it is an homage to when they actually raced cars. Because even this one, they're like, oh yeah, they didn't even race. It just, the next scene's like they're just driving with cars. This was a legitimate like mind game of Dominic Toretto. It's like, oh yeah, let's race, and then Roman's like, yeah, 100,000, and Han's like, yeah, we're not gonna live probably. Let's do 1 million, and then all of a sudden, like just the four of them racing and interchanging between their personalities, of racing personalities, where everyone got a chance to be ahead at a point, but at the end, even when Brian won, Roman and Han are like, yeah, he let up. He let you win. And I was like, oh, no, this is galaxy brain. Like, you just, like, let him win. So, did he? We never really know. But, like, it was one of those scenes where it was super fun in terms of just going back to the old-timey racing again. So, that's – because after that scene, I don't think we see another race ever again in any of the Fast movies. Like, there's no longer a car race anywhere else after that final race, because everything else is a chase, but that's not like four friends chasing each other for like money or for kicks and giggles, and Roman turning on the sirens and doing dumb things. Like, this is the last race in all the franchise until maybe the very, very end where they do it for fun. Because so I wanted to highlight that as the fun part, but also like the last ride, which is insane.
They did have race wars in number 6, but I know what you're saying.
Like,
he races a guy at the beginning.
But Letty doesn't race. She doesn't. She freak out or whatever, and she just goes whatever. Like, she doesn't. Like, this is the last time these main characters actually race each other.
No, she races and then she freaks out after when everybody comes to congratulate her. But
I think it's like I think it's like the 4 cars lined up. It's very reminiscent of that first movie. All 4 cars lined up. Traffic light to traffic light, live your life a quarter mile at a time. And obviously Tyrese got to turn the sirens on and goof around. Apparently that was an error, and the lights just started going off with the car, and they were just like, it fits that character. We might as well just leave it in there.
And it was trash talking through the speaker on the...
Yeah. That was
great. So whatever.
And a highlight for your boy Tyrese, but also like the Vin Diesel chase in Cuba where he's like running around in like the car or whatever racing for his nephew. That's not a race. That's like a rocket ship type of thing. It's really stupid. But like this is just like a 4 friends racing for fun, and like that would be like if we met at the kart track and be like, we're gonna win, winner buys loser has to buy everyone like Frosties or something. Like, that would be fun. Like, this seems like something fun. The other ones are just so stupid. So yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Shout out to Scott who hashtagged hand shot first. I don't know if you guys remember when they show the fake IDs. Hands says hand and then Seoul, like Korea, SEOL, and then dash O or whatever. So Han Solo is pretty funny. Chris, what do you got for your favorite scene of this movie that hasn't already been highlighted?
I got 5.
Go.
No, as Stu mentioned it's the safe when they drag the safe behind the 2 Chargers and it's like a wrecking ball through that city. That was insane. When I saw it in the theaters, I was like, my hair was like just like spiked up. Like I didn't even mean to do that. But yeah, that whole scene was great. I thought that's kind of like the big action piece that is now becoming a staple of physics bending action piece that's becoming a staple of the Fast franchise. So yeah, I'd say that one is my favorite.
Yeah. That was another over the top, like just brings this whole movie to another level. But Rob, you're on cleanup. What else did we miss?
I think any good heist movie, you have to have racing, some type of car components, which everybody here has discussed. You also need to have some good gun action play. Somebody mentioned the kill box, the issue when they were driving, when the Rock's team enters Fuelas and tries to capture the guys. But I think the battle between Vin Diesel and the Rock, when they converge onto their hideout, which they thought, Mia's like, hey, they're on the other side of the city, we're good. And all of a sudden they come roaring in and he smashed into Dom's Charger. And he's like, you made a big mistake. And then that just,
Stallone showed up?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Is that the Guardians of the Galaxy? Is that the Guardians of the Galaxy showing up?
So yeah, and seeing that, those two go, because that's what everybody kind of wanted. And admittedly, I think we all thought this will be the climax of the movie. These two titans coming at each other would be the climax, and instead it was, at about the, almost just after the halfway mark of the movie. So that was pretty cool to watch. That whole scene, them, back and forth and flying through windows and landing on shit. So that to me was probably the best, because we know they can do action scenes with cars well. Justin Lin auditioned and did well with Tokyo Drift, and proved it again in number 4, and so on. So we know they can do that, but can he manage an action scene with 2 people fight scene? Then he did quite well. So I'd go with that one.
Yeah. I was actually surprised it didn't come up earlier. Like, and who do you have winning that fight, Rob? Is it?
Oh, it's The Rock all the way. No. Vin Diesel's ego ensured that he was Teflon Don. There's no way. I mean,
the producer credit was the reason why Vin Diesel won that.
Yeah. But if he can rock bottom anyone in the world for real life, he would probably rock bottom Vin Diesel for realsies.
Yeah, they're not.
Not only was he doing it on 7 of 9, shout outs to Star Trek Voyager, but like he'd be doing it to Vin Diesel real life if he could, outside of using an actual crowbar, just like a certain character did in one of my favorite video games, where they had a crowbar fight for no reason. So let's remember that one too.
Yeah. Chris Ho, being the Rock expert, were there a lot of Rock trademark moves in there during that fight that you noticed?
Yeah, I rewatched it after you mentioned that to me. He does the kick up, like I said, like I think you mentioned, that was one of his signature moves when he wrestled, and then he does a Superman punch, but that's not really his move. And then when he throws Dom through a window with a suplex, I think that's the extent of his wrestling moves. Unless neck snapping is a wrestling move, or
that was just like that. That's the definitive finishing move in
Dark
wrestling.
Side of the ring, neck snapping.
Yeah. Probably because of Vin Diesel got his way. There was probably a scene right after where he gets the people's elbow, where The Rock runs back and forth and just drops the elbow on Vin Diesel when he's on when he gets him on the ground or something like that. But I thought that was actually really cool scene, and also you have that added element of Dom getting the wrench, mimicking his kind of origin story of what he did to the guy that killed his father, and he decides to hold back and not murder the Rock with the wrench. So I thought that was.
If you guys remember, we just rewatched it. The Rock actually grabbed the wrench first.
Yeah.
He's the one that did. So it's just like, wait a minute, that's hypocritical, because if the Rock connected with that wrench, Vin Diesel's out. right?
Yeah,
And then
Vin Diesel, he shows the growth.
Diesel kind of retaliates, but then you see that connection when Mia actually, that's her best acting in the whole series is when she yells Dom, because he's panicking. She's like, shit, my brother could kill this guy, right? And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, The Rock's not a likable guy up until he changes sides. Like he's a dick to his team. He's like, oh yeah, take it apart. Oh, put it back together. Like, you know, like he's not a nice guy to them.
And he looks at it for a second. He's like, that radio. I'm like, you could have done that like before you guys did this whole thing.
So my question, Andre, is do you think this is on Jordana Brewster's like highlight package when they're like, look at my greatest hit? She's like, Dom! Like that one scene in the Fast and Furious. That's where Jordana Brewster. You know, that's it.
If she's getting nominated for an Oscar, it's because of that scene.
I would actually give it to Vince during the fight when they're tussling and everyone's just like back off, let him fight it out. Vince is just like, yeah, come on, like he's just kind of like, come on, like kind of like no, he doesn't want to get in the fight. He's just trying to cheer Dom, like kind of be like, come on, Dom, you can beat this guy. Like he just kind of, I forgot what he yells. But he's just like, come on. And he's not ready to jump in. He's not ready. He's just like, my buddy's got to win this fight, and I'm standing back. I thought that was a really cool moment.
He's a really big Vince fan, John. I didn't know he was in that scene. Making sure you're marking him in every scene.
Go back and watch it. And he just like makes a little like growl noise or whatever, kind of like, hey, my buddy can win. Yeah, kind of, my buddy can win this fight. I don't have to jump in. I don't have to pull people back. I'm just here watching this fight, which is like it kind of fits the character of like their buddies forever. But anyways, let's move on. I think we covered pretty much all the scenes. My favorite is when they're testing the cars out in that kill box or that dead zone and they're trying to get through and everybody gets their moment. Gal Gadot gets a run at it. Han gets a run at it. Like all the characters get to mess around. Even Tyrese gets to drive around in that one. So I think that was a really fun scene. So I had a game planned. So we're going to try and do it a little faster than I thought I was going to do because we're running out of time here. So my game was we're going to do a little draft. We're going to draft our favorite characters, 2 of them each, and then we're going to draft our favorite vehicles or cars from the movie. I'm going to run this game for you guys, and I'm going to give I'm going to judge you guys based on what you select. I've got a couple bonus point ideas in the tuck. So let's roll this wheel of randomness and see who gets to choose their favorite character first. So I've got everybody's names here. So going to be up first. And it's going to be snake draft, Stu Styles.
The technology is so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So Chris Ho, who would you choose as first choice for your character?
It's not even.
You gotta choose. I gotta choose Hobbs. I can't wear this shirt and not choose Hobbs first. So yeah, The Rock.
Yeah. All right. So Chris takes The Rock. Rock is off the table. We're gonna see who gets to choose next. So Chris takes The Rock. No bonus points for that because that was just an obvious choice. All right. So Andre, you're up. Andre, you're up.
I'm gonna go with Gal Gadot.
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Rob, go. Let's spin the wheel for John.
Which is kind of funny because I feel like they didn't even mention her character's name during the whole movie. Do they call her Giselle at any point at all?
They did. They did. Yeah,
I feel like they don't. She's just there. She shows up on her bike and she's there.
She's also supposed to be a weapons expert too. So
that's why I'm taking her. She's a weapon expert. She can drive. She's ex-military. She can do it all.
All right, Stu, who would you take?
Dominic Toretto, what are you doing? He can't lose. He can't lose to The Rock. You guys are all maroons. Dominic Toretto, number 1. I can't believe you felt me. Rob,
star of the franchise. All right, Rob, you're gonna get 2 choices, and then we're gonna wheel it backwards.
Oh, damn it!
The police captain. No, I'm gonna take the. I'll take Brian.
Yeah.
And then Han, because Han is the coolest cat there is, man. That guy. I think he's got there's a lot underneath there. He's just cool as all hell, man. He has no stress gets to him. He's just very even keeled. I think he's the best under pressure. So Brian and Han.
Yeah, Brian Hunt. That's a pretty good combo. All right, so Stu, you get your second choice.
Deckard Shaw, man. Deckard Shaw.
Get out of here. There's no Deckard Shaw in this movie.
What? What are you talking about? Can I just pick whoever I want? We're
No,
talking about this movie?
we're saving that for 9.
Oh God. I guess. Well, yeah, it's got to be Letty because I don't want Jordana Brewster. So good luck, guys.
But she's not in this movie.
She's in a picture at the end.
She's
I'll
in a
give
picture,
it to you.
yeah.
I actually was gonna.
She's in a picture too.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I count that? She's in a picture.
Secret points were gonna be for Letty and Eva Mendes.
Yeah, because I got to pick Eva Mendes too.
Yeah.
But Letty is in a picture, so I'm gonna. Well, fine, John.
Yeah.
Do I have to pick- Am I not allowed to pick that one?
No, you can go with Letty if you want.
Yeah,
How many
100%.
picks are we
That's
getting?
amnesia. That's amnesia Letty though. You don't get proper Letty. You get amnesia Letty.
Yeah,
I don't know.
know how to do
Amnesia
anything.
Letty's way better. Come on.
Yeah, 100% better. She's a
Stop.
she's a bona fide killer. Amnesia Letty's better than regular Letty. 100%. I believe like Chris Ho. Yeah. All right.
All right. So Stu's fine with amnesia Letty. Andre, you get your second choice.
I'm going with Tej.
Tej. Okay. Yeah. Ludacris himself.
Ludacris.
Ja Rule's replacement, a tech guy.
Yeah.
All right. And Rob, you got final pick.
Chris
Oh,
Ho got
Chris.
final
Wow,
pick.
Rob gets another pick before I do one.
Oh, sorry, Chris. Chris O. Sorry.
Chris gets final.
My bad, Chris O. Chris O, your
geez.
final pick.
Who's even left? Am I forced to pick Tyrese? Like,
No, you can pick the 2 Spanish guys who don't speak English.
Win. You can pick Don Omar.
oh, that's their names. Yeah, I'll take Roman. Just I think that's gonna give me bonus points for John. So
Yeah,
Can
bonus
I
point.
just say though, and this
2
is gonna
bonus
make-
points for Tyrese.
This is going to make John very, very happy. So
he
when
is the
Tyrese,
funniest part of the Sorry, go ahead.
when Tyrese shows up in the movie, my son was like, "Oh yeah," like that, because he loved him in number 2, and he's like, he was so glad he's back for this one. He was like, he is the best, and I was like, "Oh my god, what a John!" This is like John's like
he got to fill a lot of scenes. Like basically, he was just almost like an atmosphere type piece. He would just throw in these regular jokes to pop up the scenes. Of course, he's gonna walk away when he hears about the heist, and then they're like, "Oh, we're talking about 100 million," and he's like, "What?" You know, I'd be hungry and stuff like that. Like it's really funny stuff. And they even brought back that "I'm hungry" line from
Right.
Fast and Furious 2. Like I'm surprised you could salvage anything from Fast and Furious 2, but we did get these 2 characters, Roman and Taz. So bonus points for picking Tyrese. I would have given that more if someone picked him up earlier, but I guess getting in there by default.
No danger of him going in the first round.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys pick cars now, and just to save time, we're gonna do the same order. So Chris Ho, let me know what car what's your
From
first
this-
choice for car or
From
vehicle?
From this movie?
Yeah.
This movie only?
Yeah.
Clearly, because I'm not allowed to pick Deckard Shaw, so there's got to be.
Get out of here.
I wanted to pick the car that's also a ramp. Come on. I'll take the car that had the chip in it. I don't know what car it is. John will tell me.
Yeah,
but
that's a GT40. Yeah.
that car looks
Ford
sick, yo, and
GT40.
it was like I'm pretty sure it's super rare. Anyways, that's the car I'll take.
Yeah. All right, bonus points for Chris.
Oh, look at that!
GT40. It wasn't even a real GT40 though.
Wow.
They were all replica cars, but yeah,
Oh, okay,
hardcore
sure.
pick. So let's go with Andre. What would you pick as your first vehicle?
I really like the again the very opening scene where they break Dom out the NSX and it had the Honda logo instead of the Acura logo. So I was like, yeah, that car's badass, man, and it's actually affordable. You know, like
they quote unquote call it an affordable supercar.
yeah.
But on the reliability scale, definitely up there. So I did have bonus points awarded for someone weirdly picking the NSX that was only in the opening sequence for reliability. All right, Stu, what would be your vehicle?
1970s Dodge Charger are like the Vin Diesel's car. What? Like there's no. It is the car in all Fast and Furious, and it ended to me with Vin Diesel. So it's all kismet. So no question.
I was I want to give. I'm going to give Stu bonus points for knowing this is a 1970 and not a 69, which often people jump to. So that's pretty impressive, Stu. I'm pretty impressed. So Rob, what do you got? You got two vehicle choices.
I'm not a car guy, man.
May I recommend a car for you? May I recommend a car for you, Rob?
No, so I'll take Dom's car that Hobbs ran into, the more updated Charger.
It's the same car. It's the same.
It is?
He wants the smashed version, okay? He wants the smashed version.
You want the cube? I'll give, if you want the cube Charger, I'll give you the
no
cube
takebacks.
Charger.
He wants the smashed version.
If you want that variant, I'll give it to you. But otherwise, you can pick 2 other cars.
Wait, what about the one at the very end? Is that the same car that he's driving?
Oh, at the very end, that's a Challenger.
Okay, I'll take that one. And
okay,
then,
so he's going to choose the Challenger at the end.
And then I'm going to take the one that Dom took off of the train, the one that him and Brian end up jumping off of.
Yeah,
the silver one. I don't know what type of car it was. It looked
It's like a Corvette Stingray.
Yeah.
Super duper rare. I think like 3 in the world.
1966. That's Chevrolet.
Some water damage.
Stingray.
I'll tell you that right now, though.
What's that? It has water damage. That's okay. If there's only 3 in the world, I still got a water damaged vehicle. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Bonus points because I think that is probably going to be the most valuable car in the entire movie due to its rarity. Some people even value it at like $10 million, but I don't know if that's the actual value or not. So Rob takes something brand new and something old school. That's pretty cool.
You got 2 cars. How is that even possible? How did he get 2 cars? Let's all get another car then.
We're snake drafting. So we're back to you, Stu. What is your second choice?
I'm going to take the 2011 Lexus LFA on the Autobahn, driven by Han and Giselle. That thing is awesome. And it reminds me of when I drove on the Autobahn, it was freaking out. So as the Lambos and Ferraris are going on the 5th lane, passing me by on my rental car in Germany.
Do you have 2 people in one seat as well?
Yeah.
Actually, Mike and Nick were both with me at the time. They were both on my laps. I had 2 guys on me. So
you won up on. You got.
Yeah, I got one up on. Do you know that all the vehicles were Mercedes Benzes? That's the only rental cars you could get. You're like, I gotta slum it in Mercedes. So that's what it is. Shout out to Mike Bartrup and Nick Tan, as both of them were on my laps. So let that be you canon.
You fit 2. I don't even know if that car would even fit them unless Gal Gadot is smaller than she looks on the big screen. But yeah, I was going to give bonus points for that Lexus because it is amazing. Like the NSX at the beginning, the Lexus would be also your second most reliable car of the bunch here. And I actually did see one in person, and I used to think, that car looks all right. I saw one in person when I went to the States. It is insane.
The interior is so good. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyways,
it was a ridiculous car. Andre, what do you got as your second choice?
I'm hoping it's right. I don't know what year it was, but
it's not
a 300 that Giselle was driving in that first scene where they're practicing the court. It was like a silver.
Yeah. I think it was a 370Z, a Nissan 370Z.
Yeah, that thing was cool, man.
Known as like a drift missile, a very capable, affordable car. So Andre's picking 2 very practical cars. Because that Nissan Z was probably one of the cheapest cars in the movie, but it's a fantastic shoot machine. I think in Tokyo Drift, I think DK Drift King drives a heavily modified one as well. Rob, what would you have as your second car?
No, it's
Chris.
Why is Rob always get 3 cars before I get
Rob gets 3 cars.
For a moment, I had sweat. I was like, "Oh shit, here we go again." You guys are all talking about all these cars in these scenes, and I'm like, "Okay, whatever." This is why Bond only drives an Aston Martin, because it's all you need to know.
And he flipped the shit into oblivion. Like I was all aboard. I was like, "Yo, I want to watch some James Bond." Oh, he drives the Aston Martin. He flips it within like 2 minutes of getting it, and it's gone for the rest of the movie. I think he does he uses it as a defibrillator, which is not a very impressive feat for cars. If you pull up to the traffic light and you go, "I got a defibrillator in my Aston Martin," you're not going to get any street cred or respect, and sometimes that matters more to people. So sorry, Chris Ho. Do you have a second car choice?
My second car choice is the armored truck that The Rock drives into the parking garage, which essentially negates the need for any kind of stealth plan. You basically have this drifting course that they've created. You know what? We don't need that. We need an armored car to drive directly into the city. Piloted by The Rock and that other girl, the girl who's still whatever. Anyway, and The Rock just going through everybody for that. Yeah, that's my
that's a Gurha LAPV. Costs about 700 K USD. So that's. I'm surprised no one picked that first.
Do you remember earlier in this show when somebody was asking about whether or not The Rock had a towel boy to wipe him down?
Yeah,
I actually think Chris was probably hoping that job exists for future productions.
I've been sending resumes to The Rock's.
Chris, he has his own social media channel where he's just patting people down, as you know, to say, "Hey, look at my reel. I'm telling you, I can do it."
Every Monday,
if The Rock drove a jockstrap in this movie, Chris would have picked it. He was like, "Oh, The Rock's jockstrap. That's what I'm thinking. That's the best armor he wore. That's it."
All right, cool. All right, thanks guys for playing along. Does anyone have an idea for a movie, a spin-off with those characters that they got, or is that too short notice?
Well, my character's dead, so.
Well, no one ever really dies because clearly Letty is back in the grave, and so is Han. So you know, everyone, no one is truly dead in the Fast and the Furious universe.
I actually have. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I want
talking about. They set up a freaking Wicked movie in that Madrid with Han and Giselle.
Pretty cool, yeah.
An amazing city, like two wicked characters, and it could be anything, man. Like she knows that she's ex-military. Maybe I don't know, her country wants her back or something because she, whatever. But that'd be wicked, man.
Okay, so I think Andre's got it. We don't need to play that game. I think so. We want Gal Gadot, Sung Kang in a separate out of either prequel or some type of weird Tokyo Drift style movie slotted in there somewhere.
No, the correct answer.
I'll get there. We'll get there eventually. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. You can just have the adventures of the two of them, right?
The correct one is you want more Kurt Russell. You want Mr. Nobody. You want a ragtag.
He's not in this movie.
I'm just saying. You just need them. You just need to secretly show up in these movies. Yeah. He's always there watching. But
save it for Fast 9, Stu. We need Fast and the Furious 6 to 8 to combine with our Fast and the Furious 9.
When do I get to do my Ryan Reynolds pitch movie? I'm just waiting for the time I can talk more about Ryan Reynolds.
He doesn't show up. He was in that last movie, so you gotta wait.
He does exist in the Hobbs and Shaw.
He's in Hobbs and Shaw. Yes, he's canon in the Fast and Furious universe. I just need more him and The Rock. But yeah, we'll talk about that later.
And Kevin Hart, so you can have Kevin Hart as well. The points in the game were all irrelevant. Chris Ho wins because he picked Tyrese. And you guys should have seen that coming, 100%.
Hey, I have a serious question I want to ask.
Kind of stuck with it.
I have a serious question before we actually go. And I talked about this last week and about some of the language and the themes that were used in the first movie, and then you look at this. This is a 2011 movie. This is well before the Me Too movement. And I was thinking about it when Giselle, and Han are trying to figure out how they're going to get the handprint from, whatever. And and he goes and he's like, touching her ass, and the guys are all joking about it afterwards. Like, oh, did he smack that ass? And they use that joke a couple of times throughout that movie. And so I wondered do you think that, Number 9 was kind of filmed right around the time, just after the Me Too kind of had not peaked, but was at its height. Do you think that future movies will then stray away from that tone? I guess we could say that somewhat of the exploitation of hot women and whatnot. Do you think it will shift, and will that then change the tone of the movie? Like, I don't know, like we always joke about stuff, but I'm kind of interested in what your thoughts are.
Rewatching Fast 5, and when Roman says the stuff he says to Giselle, it was really wrong. Like talking, like when she gets the motorcycle, like what he says is you would never ever would say that. And even when they talk about the money, he refers to it as like a device, like for him to get something else. Just his manners of the movie is so gross. You're like, this guy's just a sleazy dude. I can pick Tyrese. You watch a movie, John, you're like, this is bad. So bad.
No, the line is what time do those legs open, I think. And she whips out the gun and points it at him as soon as I pull the trigger, which I think was actually a pretty good stance, like a good look for her to shut him down like that. But yeah, I think I don't know whoever else has thoughts on it. I think maybe now I don't think Gal Gadot does that same scene, and they figure out some other way to do it.
Even when Terry talks about money, he's like, "Oh, that could be a lot of something," and you're like, "Oh, this is not cool." So yeah, it's very inappropriate for today.
Yep. Like even Michelle Rodriguez had like a whole rant about it, like not getting a strong female lead in these types of bro fests and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely going to change in Fast 9, I would think. I feel like Letty will have a huge role in Fast 9, like just like because of the I don't know.
Let's see what happens at Fast 10, because I think this is too much of a bro Fast 9 and done with John Cena. So let me just comfortably say it's not going to happen. And let's hope for F10 to be balanced, because F9 seems like a bro. So.
All right, cool. Andre, did you have anything on that subject, or?
No. I think we covered it. It is what it is, right? Like
times change. That's it.
Times change, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We'll keep it moving. I think Gal Gadot was really good in this movie. I think upon the rewatch, she did turn out to be one of my favorite members of the crew to watch.
Yeah.
So let's just wrap this up with overall thoughts. If you have your rankings of the movies, like I don't know if you want to just do your top 3 of all of them, or what we've watched. I wasn't really clear in defining what you want to do. So if you just had a little something, definitely mention it now. So let's let Andre go first. How do you feel? Like, we know you're a big fan of this franchise. Is Fast 5 your favorite of all of them, or is it Fast 5 and onwards becomes your favorite?
No, I think Fast 5 is the best film. It's my favorite film of them. And I would probably rank it something like 5, 7, and then 4. It was sad with Paul Walker dying, but I think man, it's such a great big action fest movie. Like, it's good, like I think he would have been proud of it, and I think that's what a lot of people, or maybe they don't, but you got to recognize that this movie, the series almost came from nothing. Nobody expected it to get where it was going. I think it's way better than it has any right to be, and I think it's super cool. I don't want it to go on forever, but I think where they've gotten is just a testament to the effort of the people involved and believing in it. And I think this one was the turnaround piece, and it found its footing, and it like, to me, like, we mentioned, Stu mentioned this putting together its Avengers. Like, I like Fast 5 better than probably 70-80% of the Marvel movies. Like, this was a movie that delivers on action, and it raises the bar, and everyone is every scene is bigger than the last, and like, there's some Marvel movies that can't say that. And a couple like Captain Marvel comes to mind, and Ant-Man, like they're just not in the same. So I think this is a huge movie, and I think it does a lot for the franchise, does a lot for actors and personalities from all over the globe, and I think for that, props to all the people involved.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, Stu. What do you got? Do you have a ranking at all?
I do.
Your number
Fast
1?
5, yeah, Fast 5 is number 1. Fast 7 is number 2, and Fast 6 is number 3. So those are my top 3. I think Andre spoke eloquently about why 1 and 2 are the way they are, and I feel that Fast 6 kind of has the most from my opinion, the most ridiculous scenes, including the longest
Infinite runway. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has moments where the Han and Giselle thing and all the other things that happen. You're like, what in the world? Like, it just escalates that stuff. Like, I do have a special place in my heart for the Fast and Furious, the first one, but when it comes to pure action, and as Andre said numerous times, it's entertainment. Like, I don't need to know anything about these characters. I don't need to know a backstory. I can just go in and watch it, as opposed to the Marvel stuff when you have so much information about characters, you can nitpick of like, I think they do this. When I watch a Fast movie, I don't care what they do. I'm not going there. I'm like, what would Vin Diesel do in this situation? I ponder. What pray tell would he do? It's like, I'd probably grab a wrench and hit someone in the face. I'm like, and carry on. So I enjoy these movies most because those three are the like perfect popcorn and enjoying a movie theater with your friends. And like Chris said before, that moment when you can jump up and then you could do the hand movement and everyone just laughs at you and we just clap and then you just carry on. You can't do that in an Avengers movie. People actually beam you with stuff. So people take the Marvel stuff way too seriously. To Andre's point, like take it as a religion and church and like everything has to be continuity wise. But these Fast movies constantly break the rules and do wacky stuff all the time. So it's perfect. Yeah. Go ahead,
All right.
Chris.
Cool. All right, Chris. Chris, go ahead. What do you do? Do you put 5 because of The Rock at number 1?
I put
quick story is you saw Fast and Furious 1 before I did in theaters, and you were the one that came home late at night after seeing the movie and was like, John, you got to go see this movie. It's got all these cars in it, and they show the engine and everything like exploding and all that kind of stuff. So me and my buddies went to see it. I don't know if it was the following week or whatever, because we didn't even plan to see it until Chris came home and it was like, this is awesome.
I just remember it was at First Markham, that Cineplex there. I just remember a lot of people, like when we were in the parking lot driving off, a lot of people were redlining their Corollas and their Camrys out of that parking lot. It was really funny because everyone was just so jacked about that movie. So my ranking, I'm gonna go chalk here like with these guys. Just 5 is the best for me. I actually put number 1 second. I just think it has like a special place in like the culture and obviously the one that started it all kind of thing and introduced those characters to you. And then I have 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 2 just to do all of
so Too Fast, Too Furious last place, unfortunately.
Yeah, like the only thing I remember from
the worst.
Worse than Tokyo Drift?
Oh, the worst. Yeah, Tokyo Drift is way higher. Yeah. Higher. Yeah.
I just wanted to mention one thing about the importance of Paul Walker. Like Andre kind of touched on it. Like, and Andre's favorite scene from this movie, it's kind of like it illustrates kind of why you need Paul Walker in these things. And it's basically they're both fighting somebody on that train. Vin Diesel's throwing guys off the train with like one arm, no issue. Like he's like a superhero. But Paul Walker is essentially fighting one guy on the thing, and he's having a really hard time to doing it. Like he's like your everyman. He's the guy that kind of needs to be there. And I think in the later movies that's kind of missing. I'm thinking, with the reintroduction of Han, maybe he can be that guy. So I was just saying like that. It's unfortunately, Paul Walker passing and things like that. I think he was a huge, important piece to this franchise, and I just wanted to mention that. But
based on the trailers, Han looks like a badass. I don't think that's that guy sniping people from a building. I don't think that's it, man.
Well, I hope he's like jumping on another car and like struggling to take out the guy inside of it.
He'd probably do it while eating a bag of chips.
Yeah, as opposed to Vin Diesel, who can vault 100 feet in the air, land on his back, no issue, or like use his foot to stomp and destroy an entire parking structure. So these type of things.
His Hulk stomp. Yeah, Chris puts it really well. Like Paul Walker, especially for me, was the heart of this franchise. So on the loss of him, when we get to my turn, you're not going to see actually a lot of the after movies rank highly for me. But let's let Rob take it away. Rob, you're fresh off rewatching all 5 of them together with your son. I don't know if rewatching them with your son would have changed your rankings or not.
So I'm not going to rank the other ones. I have seen the other ones, but it's been so long. I can't recall every. So I'm just going to go based on the first 5.
Yeah.
I will say just a couple of things. One is that my issue with these movies, again, I'm not a car guy, so I know that a lot of, and even my colleagues here, they love these cars, and so that it gives them that extra boost, that jazz of seeing these movies. For me, I don't give it doesn't. I have no affection. These hands are made for loving, not for physical labor. So I don't care. So
you Rob, who criticized the hat backwards and hat forwards and changing aspect ratios.
Yes.
Did you not notice the Dodge Chargers that they stole as police cars changed into different Dodge Chargers when they turned matte black? Yeah, it's actually a different generation. They're completely different Chargers. That bothers the shit out of me. But anyway,
I didn't notice that. I just thought they sprayed them black.
Yeah. No,
that's just like the basketball in the Top Shot, John, or whatever.
So quickly, those flat black Chargers. If you look at the back, the taillights are completely different. It's the same one that I used to have, Andre. And then the ones that they stole is the newer generation with a long tail light, and it's very apparent. They have very different architecture if you look at them closely. But sorry, Rob, go ahead. Okay, that's my hat backwards, forwards, Rob rant.
So I can only base it on the 5. Now, we'll say that the biggest problem I have with this movie, I feel they're very long. The first 4 movies are about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes, and then all of a sudden these things, like with Nos, jump to the 2:15 to 2:30 and 2:45 mark. Like these, I feel like the perfect time for this movie is about an hour and 45 minutes. I find that there's a lot in there that could just, and it's like kryptonite to me. I get sleepy on these movies for whatever reason. So
hold on a second. Hold on. Sorry, Rob. You 4-hour, 20-minute Snyder cut, and you're like, give me more. Give me more.
Yes.
I'll drink it. I want to see the Flash comb his hair. I want to see the Flash brush his teeth. I want to see Ben Affleck. Dude, this movie had like 10 characters that needed to have some time, and 2 hours and 10 minutes was too long.
It was 2 hours and 15. No, it was 2 hours and 15. No, because you know what though? I just found that I found that this movie, and I find the other ones, if I can remember correctly, I find that there's a lot of exposition that's not needed. And I know it sounds hypocritical because we don't. I wasn't a fan of the Flash putting the hot dog back in. I didn't like that scene, but I would still take 4-hour Justice League movie over this. Anyways, that being said, my rankings, I would go with 5. I don't mind Tokyo Drift, and to be honest with you, I don't mind number 2. I thought John Singleton directed number 2, and he didn't get the credit I think that he deserved, stepping into what Rob Cohen had kind of laid down. John Singleton is was because he passed just last year, a phenomenal director, and I don't think he got the credit he probably deserved in taking that and stepping into an already pre-existing universe as a one-shot director. So I'd probably go 5, 3, 4, but to be honest with you, I really think 4 and 2 for me are almost side by side. So I actually don't mind number 2.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I love number 2, and it's kind of Smoking the Bandit feel, but I feel like they almost got like they redid it with 4. But I like what Andre was saying earlier. I've definitely rewatched this more times than I've watched a lot of the Marvel movies, other than Winter Soldier. I think Winter Soldier is going to beat a lot of my rewatches, except for maybe Fast and the Furious 1. So I was actually torn. If before this rewatch, I would have put Fast and the Furious number 1 first because of the nostalgia and just the moment in history and what it meant to me. But I think I flipped it now. So upon the rewatch, I think 5 is a fantastically put together evolution of action film. Like I guess we'd have to pinpoint exactly when the action films just kind of started leveling up, and I think Fast and Furious 5 is definitely in the discussion of whenever action movies kind of achieve this next level, and then we started seeing $600,000, $100 million box offices and stuff like that. And then I would only be able to maybe pick a third place, and I think it would be Fast and the Furious 6, which is I think the last one with Paul Walker in its entirety, and then 7 I think is where he passed away, and they kind of had to piece together what was left. Like I said, Paul Walker passing, heart of the franchise for me, even so much so that the other ones, I think I wasn't ready to watch them. I rewatched a couple of them during this pandemic, and I think I appreciated them more. I don't know if it was a point in grieving this loss of this celebrity idol that I had. So I definitely have to go back and watch them, and I think a lot of them are going to rank higher because I was kind of critical of them at a certain point. So, but I'm glad everyone pretty much unanimously chose Fast 5 as the best of the franchise. So we're gonna see if 9 can top that with the addition of John Cena. Is he gonna create? Is he gonna create the effect?
I can tell you right now, New. Fast 5 is an achievement among achievements. I do not think that it will ever be usurped outside of maybe Fast 11, the final movie, which they'll bring everyone back in the kitchen sink. But I can tell you right now, it is no way are you going to have more fun than watching Fast 5. It is the pinnacle of all the Fast movies. Like everything since, it's been a shell. Even though they've gotten bigger in Dubai and they've gone to like submarines and they're going to space, nothing will match Fast 5. It's just perfect.
What if Gal Gadot comes back for the next one?
She won't.
No.
She's too expensive now, and she's Wonder Woman. So
that's why she survived. She just rolled off the plane. She tucked and rolled, and we didn't see her.
That plane was only going 90 miles per hour. It's fine. Tuck and rolling at 90. It's fine.
Tuck and roll.
Well, actually, Leon from the first movie actually scooped up and grabbed her and took off, just like he did with Letty and Dom in the first movie. So we're gonna see that tie together.
Oh God, I would pay anything to see Leon again.
You could probably kickstart it and get him a cameo in the movie. I'm actually surprised he doesn't even get a cameo. But anyways, so we're all looking
footage
to Fast 9, which opens. Is it this coming the 25th? Rob, is that?
I think it's the 29th. No, I think it's midweek because they're leading into the July 4th weekend. Isn't Fast 9?
I want to say it's this weekend. Otherwise, we probably would have tried to squeeze in another Fast and the Furious for next Monday.
We can still can. I think Rob is right. I think it's the 28th or 29th. But
yeah, maybe we could watch the rest of them. We'll have a little discussion and see what we want to do. Does anyone have any? Andre, do you have anything else that you wanted to mention about this? A lot of people are very surprised how much you like this series, but I totally can see it. It has no previous existing thing that it has to hold up to. It's pretty much completely new and original in its thing. So I don't know if you have any closing.
I think that's part of the magic, is because you never know where it's going to go, and they drop these lines like, "Oh, I had a life before this," and even Vin Diesel talking about his father. He was a race car driver. Then he used to cook for the whole neighborhood.
No mention of his brother.
No mention of his brother.
Hey, don't worry. They'll talk about that. Don't worry.
They can kind of squeeze.
We don't talk about him. Yeah.
And I think that the magic of it is realistically this is that movie where, like Stu said, you want to be entertained, and you're not going in with any baggage of knowledge of these characters, and they can push the envelope each time because that's what the franchise is all about now, right? So yeah, maybe if they do end up in space, like the rumor is, maybe that'll be a little bit too much. But if you realistically think about what they've built with this franchise, if they ever did, what was Kurt Russell's character, Mr. Nobody? What if Mr. Nobody does recruit them and says, I'm now going to call you guys, G.I. Joe 1 or whatever? You're like, holy crap, this is the origin of a Spec Ops team. They had these abilities, they had these things, and it could be that badass team that you always saw, but you never knew how they came up. You could be like, holy crap, there was 10 movies about how these guys got to this level, and now they're called whatever force or action force or whatever. I'm just not saying that that's what's happening.
Andre, can I throw a proposal to you?
Where you could get you're like, holy crap,
Can I throw the proposal? Can we call them the Dark Universe, and that each will have a nickname? Like Vin Diesel will be the Wolfman, and each will be Frankenstein, and then Hunt can be the Invisible Man.
If you're gonna add Tom Cruise to the franchise, then let's do it.
Let's Universal owns this, and guess what? They also own the Universal Monsters. Let's just bring them together, and then call them the Monster Squad, and then they can just do whatever, and they're the Dark Universe. Let's keep on rolling.
But that would be the ultimate multiverse crossover.
Yep.
Yeah, so sorry, the movie it is this weekend. It's the 25th. But we don't know in Ontario that it does not look like we will have access to this movie digitally. It looks like we will be somewhat pooched, which is kind of shitty, to be honest with you. But unless anybody wants to do a road trip to Quebec, I think we are SOL. So
all right,
so we can still do another podcast about the rest of the movies.
Let's maybe we'll wrap it up and do like a final discussion. Any final thoughts on this one, I guess, Stu and Chris, before I kick it to Rob?
I would say the joke was always, oh, they're going to go to space now. They're going to go to space now. The joke they're going to space in the trailer, I guess, and then now the joke is, are they going to cross over with like Transformers or something? Do you think they'll actually do that?
Jurassic Park.
No,
Transformers. Yeah. We'll see.
All right. All right, thank you very much, guys. So Rob's going to close up the show. He actually knows exactly what the plan was before it got hijacked by Hobbs and his team. So if you can explain what the plan for the heist was before it got kiboshed. You're not even trying to make something up, Rob?
Yeah. So my understanding is that the plan was for Dominic to go shopping to get new outerwear because he was running out of clean white tank tops and was trying to find more of a more tight fitting shirt to match the Rock, but alas, things went awry. I got nothing.
Yeah. I guess the plan should have been to steal that car from the Rock and just slam into the station and just pull everything out. But anyways, you want to close up the show for us, Rob? I think we're pretty much done here.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks everybody for tuning in. Lots of great comments, lots of great interaction. I appreciate everybody in their time. Stu, Chris, and Andre, thanks for coming on and discussing it and your love for it. It's we disagree about lots of movies and this and that. I would, Andre, my brother from another mother, I would prefer 4.5 hours Justice League over a 2.5 hour Fast movie, but that's just me. But I really appreciate everybody doing it.
James Wan cut for this movie.
Justin Lin cut. I think we're not quite sure what's happening next week on the Sidekick Show, although I think I have an idea. I'm going to discuss it with John off air, but I have this craving for a little face-off, so we'll see. But we'll talk. Yeah. At any rate, we'll talk about that, and yeah, that's it. If you haven't caught the Main Heroes World podcast that came out yesterday, you should do so. We review Loki episode 2. Andre is smitten with it, so you definitely want to check out his review there. We also talk about good comic book dads and ones that aren't so good. So we talked there, and then Andre he dropped some pretty cool I have spoken stuff on what you can pick up at the store, and I'm wondering if either one of you have listened to my request and put aside those James Bond cards. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, tune into that podcast and check us out. Yeah.
All right, cool. And any 905 episodes coming out this week, Rob, or are you on hiatus? I noticed you didn't mention it, but I figured in case you forgot.
No. I've got a bunch. I got stuff. I just got to get down to editing it. So we'll it should be soon.
I love how we just make fun of Rob for not putting out content. This is really great.
I got a day job, guys. I'm on hanging out in Rio, saying this is Brazil, so
Stallone went to Brazil now? Damn.
Oh my gosh.
It's getting
That's
around.
The worst Vin Diesel I've ever heard.
Have you seen Vin Diesel recently? He's a caricature of himself now. He's very puffy and swollen, so he's not really Vin Diesel anymore. Anyways, he'll get there. I got nothing.
He'll get there. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Definitely check us out. The Sidekick Show is also available on the audio as well, too. Links in the description. And yeah, as usual, like, subscribe, share. Thank you so much, everyone that does it. Thank you, all you guys, for joining us and joining me and putting up with my shenanigans. And thank you, Rob, for putting up with my shenanigans each week. So thank you very much, folks. We'll catch you guys on the next one.